We are going to start right on line number one here. Say a very good morning here to Mr. Jim Morgan. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Randy. Good, but I'll be very brief this morning. I just got to say, because it's on my mind, and it concerns me.
Yep.
I'm asking as a taxpayer of this province, which means I'm a shareholder of Nalcor, asking the government to please come clean with the people. Come clean. You got everything now wrapped up as a secret situation on the Bill 29. We know that. But come clean. And stop your squabbling with any former premier. In this case, the government is squabbling with Grimes. So big deal about over Quebec. Come clean, Mr. Jerome Kennedy in particular. You're responsible for Nalcor. You get all the reports on spendings from Nalcor on a regular basis, I'm told, by Nalcor. So therefore, after blurting out yesterday evening on another program, on a TV program, and I watched you do it, come out and confirm you have the final figures on Muskrat Falls. Mr. Kennedy, you have them. You confirmed that now publicly. So come clean. Tell us all. What are the final figures on Gate 3? In other words, the point where you're supposed to be ratifying the whole thing and confirming it.
Yeah, I'm told it's around $8 billion now, right?
Yeah, well, but he didn't say that. He won't say that. So I'm asking the big question, why are you so secretive? You're secretive of information that we were trying to get for a while on the recent contracts. You're secretive on how much money they've spent so far, they being Nalcor. But now that you have the final figures, never mind squabbling over this issue with somebody else, come forward and tell the people, the taxpayers of this province, what is the final figure on the costing? Is it 6.2? No. Is it 7? No. Is it 8? Yes, it is, and above. So tell us. You're the official person to tell us, you or the Premier, if we can find the Premier. There's no sign of the Premier these days. But let us know. Come clean as a government. A secretive government don't last long in power, Mr. Kennedy and the Premier. If you keep on being a secret government like you are now and keeping information to the public, especially on Muskrat Falls, the biggest spending we'll ever take part in as a province, you won't be in power longer than 3 years for sure. That's my prediction as a former politician. So I'm saying this morning to Mr. Kennedy, I got respect for Mr. Kennedy and respect for the other people involved in an Nalcor thing, but don't be hiding from the public. What are you trying to create a smoke screen now talking about the Quebec? Quebec is not an obstacle on the Muskrat Falls. I've done my checking on that some time ago. There's no obstacle on Muskrat, maybe in the past. Well, that's a different matter altogether. But on Muskrat Falls, the only obstacle is getting enough money to keep Nalcor fed with money to spend more and more and more money on contracts. Now, so Mr. Kennedy, if you're listening this morning, or someone in the Premier's office, I'm not the only one asking this question. I'm only one little voice out in the wilderness as a former politician. But please, tell the people now, what are the final costs? What can we expect to be spending on Muskrat Falls? Don't keep it hidden anymore, and don't keep this a big project as a secret. Again, with a cloud of secrecy over whatever they're doing, Nalcor and yourselves.
But they did say that in the next few weeks, and they said this, I don't know, a week or two ago, right? That in the next 5 or 6 weeks, whatever it was going to be, the decision gate 3 numbers, as they call them, the final numbers, will be made available, and they will be made public. There's an impression about a tremendous amount of secrecy, Jim, and yet they would argue with you that all the way through this process, government and Nalcor have been open beyond belief, particularly for a massive commercial contract the size of this one. They'd say, my God, every document, every question, every piece of paper, there's been hearings, there's been reports. We've beaten ourselves up to try and show you that we're being open and transparent.
Yes, but yet they will fail to give the information on money's been spent by Nalcor, like the recent contracts are now taking place, or work taking place as contracts issued recently and confirmed by the government. There's not Nalcor. Nalcor can't do all of this without the approval of the government, the cabinet, and particularly the minister responsible, the Minister of Natural Resources and the Premier. They've been approving all these contracts, but they don't let the people know what they are and how much they are and what they're doing. That's total secrecy. There's no transparency on this big project.
But don't you think that all of the contracts that have been let, they've told us the numbers?
No.
What, like the $155 million for SNC Lavalin, there was $12 million for road. They're doing all that?
1 second, 155? The contract, I've been querying it for some time. It was given out as a $55 million contract over a year ago.
I'm sorry, I'm misquoting then. It's 55. No, what I'm saying is it's 55 million. But they're saying, look, we've shown you every number there is that we have, and as soon as the numbers we don't have, as soon as we have those, we'll show them to you as well.
Oh yes. Well, how about the big contract they got issued to a company in Toronto? They know what I'm talking about. The deal with the financing of the operation. They paid over $6 million out to one company in Toronto, supposedly big in financing big issues like this, and that's not made public. And I can go on and go on. I got a list of contracts that I know about, but there's no value to them because you get no details given by the government to the public. I mean, Randy, look, some time ago I called you one morning and I rambled on a whole list of projects and tenders that was let by Nalcor.
Yes, I remember.
Remember that?
Yes.
Well, I got lots more than that. There's no point in posting them out in the public as the government will hide them and not confirm them. Now, everything I talk about in the past, and nobody can, I don't think I said anything wrong at all. Everything I got is backed up by documents. And there's all these millions of dollars. My figure the last year or so has been about $250 million at least spent by Nalcor. They're spending on the average of $12 to $15 each and every month, 12 to 15 million each month, carrying on. And the excuse by the chairman or the president of Nalcor has been, well, you know, we're preparing to get moving on the contract, preparing for sanction. He said last week he wouldn't have those figures. That's the reason why I'm so upset this morning. Nalcor President Mr. Martin said publicly we wouldn't have the final figures on the costing until maybe a number of weeks later on in the fall. Yet his boss, Mr. Kennedy, came on yesterday evening and confirmed
and said yes, he's had a preliminary look at numbers. Yeah.
He only didn't use the term preliminary. Now, Randy,
I guess I'm using that term.
He had the final numbers on the Nalcor project cost of Muskrat Falls. He had those final figures. That's what he said, not preliminary. So if he got them, my point this morning as one Newfoundlander is, come clean and tell us what those figures are, and we'll have our own mind made up what we're going to do later on, we as Newfoundlanders. Either go with this project, ill-advised project, from people like myself and others saying it, or they're not going to go with it. But stop spending each and every month of our taxpayers' monies when they're unaccounted for. There's no transparency. None. It's total secrecy by the government, and any secret government like that operates, they try to find little diversions once in a while, like now squabbling with Roger Grimes, things like that. But give us the facts.
Well, let's be honest now, the Roger Grimes squabble, if you will.
Maybe
Roger Grimes started it.
Yeah, but I'm not getting involved in that this morning. I'm just saying when I saw our minister responsible for the Nalcor Corporation, our corporation, the taxpayers, when I saw him saying, I have those numbers, we have those numbers, and it wasn't overnight he got them yesterday or the day before. A week or so or 10 days ago, the head of Nalcor, Mr. Martin, says, no, we haven't got the numbers. It'll be late fall before we get the numbers finalized. Now, who was right? Who was lying and who's not lying? It's really annoying to most Newfoundlanders. Now, they won't say it like I'm saying it today, because most of them don't comment publicly. But I'm saying it openly on many Newfoundland, on the part of many other Newfoundlanders, on their behalf, as taxpayers. I'm sure they all want the government to come clean. The Premier should come clean on the issue, and our ministers, and tell us now what it's going to cost, and tell us how much Nalcor has spent of our money to date. And I'm saying this morning it's very close to $1 billion.
$1 billion. Jim Morgan, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you for this.
You have a good weekend.
And you too, my boy. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, what do you think of what he's saying? Yeah, the minister did indicate yesterday it's, $8 billion and I guess we could say rising. Be the cost of Muskrat. The argument about transparency and secrecy that Jim presents, there's one thing that's very transparent, I think, in this whole process. I don't know about the individual contracts and the things that Jim is delving into, but there's one thing very transparent, is it not? And that's that this project's going ahead. Right? I don't think that Nalcor and the provincial government has, to some degree, I agree with the letter writer in the Telegram this morning. It's a little silly to be playing this little pretend game. And if we're spending money to leave the impression that all due diligence has to be done before we can go ahead. Well, at this point, that's throwing bad money after, that's a waste of money. Because we're going ahead. We know that now, right? Right? Okay.